Well, welcome. This is Rocky Romero, and this is Peers on Demand. And it's my excitement to be able to introduce to you John Kennedy, who's Principal for Mental Performance Training. John, welcome.
Hey, Rocky, how are you? Good to see you.
Well, and glad to have you here. And I'm excited about hearing more about you and your business. And I wonder if you could share about your business and tell us about that.
Sure. It's kind of interesting to some people. My background actually was process reengineering, and anyone in Chicago would be familiar with some of the larger companies I work with, Abbott, Aon, Motorola, and so forth. And about 10 years ago, my brother came back from Iraq and said, IEDs are killing us, improvised explosive devices. And my hypothesis was I could apply a process reengineering approach, which is what I use for my consulting, to the brain using neuroplasticity, which is the amazing ability God gave our brains to change repetition as the medium. So I was able to talk a Marine general into give me a chance. First experiment was with a platoon of Marines, which was a phenomenal success. We transformed them from the worst platoon to the best performing platoon in the battalion in about 3 months. And then word just spread. So for the next 3 years, this is back in 2007. So until about 2010, it was primarily military. I had very privileged to be able to work with Navy SEALs and snipers and pilots, anyone you can imagine in the military, and then transitioned it to the civilian world about 7 years ago. So athletes at all levels, from pros down to junior high kids, work with people with different types of brain trauma, from learning disabilities to depression, work with students, again, all areas, all ages, from business people all the way down to junior high kids. And about anybody with a brain, I guess you should say. So it's been very, very rewarding. I get to work with people all over the world via Skype or FaceTime. And it's just really been a life changer for me to go from helping businesses make more money to helping people become more productive in their lives.
So, John, you mentioned businesses and students and athletes. So who is your ideal client or ideal connection, or somebody that would want to do business with you, or you want to do business with them?
Yeah, there's actually two the two ends of the spectrum, basically. So the people that I love working with and actually will come for me to help are people, one, that are struggling. So kids with learning disabilities, people with depression, athletic teams, the Loyola Ramblers, for example. I worked with them back when they had lost 5 games in a row. They've had a winning season ever since, obviously the Final Four this year. So people who are struggling and want to get better, business people, salespeople who are really struggling. They realize that a faster brain and more focus can help them recover and be successful. But the other end are actually very high-performing people, professional athletes, high-performing business people that are already investing in their success and in their performance. They may have some great coaches, they may have some great courses, but they want to get that edge, right? That one edge is going to get them up to the highest level. And so they're very, very fun to work with because they already know the value of improving their own performance.
So, John, you've got so many years of experience in this. I'm wondering if you can share a story of somebody that stands out that received tremendous value by working with you. What would that be?
Wow, so many, Rocky. It'd be hard to single out one. Recently, I've had some great success with some kids with learning disabilities. A young man and started working. He had some oxygen issues at birth, hypoxia, and created some issues with his processing, and he was really struggling in school. And so I worked with him over several weeks, and a year later, he was getting A's in non-remedial classes anymore. The cool thing about the program is the exercises we use are fun and interactive. So kids like them, they laugh. Athletes, I work with professional athletes, and classes are fun. Here's probably one of the one that's most meaningful to me. I worked with a inner city high school in Chicago, did a pilot there, and worked with the kids and showed the teacher how to do the exercises with the kids 3 times a week, 15 to 20 minutes each time. And over the course of 8 weeks, their ACT scores went up 3 full points. So especially for inner city kids, that opens a huge door of opportunity for the rest of their lives.
Wow, that sounds fabulous. So I'm curious, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you or connect with you or contact you, what's the best way to reach you then?
Best way is we actually have two websites. I have the one for the training program. We call it Combat Brain Training. So combatbraintraining.com. There's information on that program. And I recently put up one called the Mental Performance Institute.org. And that's going to, there's some information, a little bit scientific information, but I've just started a blog. I'm going to start putting information out there on how the brain works, how neuroplasticity works, how people can change habits, different ways that people can use the power of neuroplasticity to improve their lives. And so again, that just went up, and that's going to be added to hopefully every week.
Well, John, I feel fortunate in being able to discuss this with you. And I appreciate the value that you bring to a lot of people and fundamentally to the society and to the world. And so thank you so much for joining.